So this shouldn't take too long. The Zombie Apex Survival Guide Part 4. Why I didn't do Meaning of Life. That would have been a great idea. But I've encountered pain, and it blew me away. It's kind of like yin and yang type of thing where you have people being nice and people being painful. And that requires consent in both cases. Because it could feel painful when people are being nice, when you don't deserve that niceness. And what I find in this case, men usually feel more pain, and they're sort of slaves right now. They're sort of adapted into that position to be slaves, which is weird. While women live in a protected, but also an ignorant environment to this problem that's going on. It's like, why do men break first and become the shooters? The school shooters, right? Oh, you think school shooting is a thing that will evaporate at some point, or is it going to get worse each time? Especially when people are gonna get more tools. Because here's one thing that's gonna happen, or at least supposed to happen in society: the taking of guns. In UK, we don't have this problem because everything is already done, and hopefully the enforcement is harsh enough to where guns are sort of prevented from leaking out into society. Those are pretty dangerous, right? Think about this, right? If any person flips to the side of evil, and depending on when they want to unleash their wrath, they might want to brew their plans or unleash their wrath as soon as possible, right? It's sort of up to them. It does connect with the meaning of life, because some people just lose the meaning of life, which means now their meaning of life is actually taking away people's meaning of life, or converting them to the same position. Now, it's a completely different thing from a zombie. And a zombie is not actually going to immediately attack when he prepares some weapons and prepares some targets. The zombie is actually going to create more zombies. The zombie apex is much more dangerous than just some people shooting other people and bringing people into death. You can view, let me put it down, shooting people down, bringing them to death. Of course, if you believe in spiritual side. If you don't believe spirit exists, don't watch my content, please. Please, get the fuck out of here. Live your life, because that's all you have, apparently. Anyways, so bringing them to death along with themselves could be viewed as you don't need to suffer or create suffering message. So it could be actually a positive thing, which is remarkable to say, right? You just bring them to that as like either stopping the bad guys or you killing people who are suffering themselves. But this is kind of that part doesn't make sense, because you wouldn't actually go for the people who didn't. You would normally go for revenge rather than take away innocent people's lives. But sometimes that happens, right? You attack innocent people, and then you just sort of giving the message that you want to take them away from suffering, because life is suffering, and you just take them away. Like, you don't need this experience. Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here, right? But you gotta believe in spiritual stuff. That all you do after you die is you just get the fuck out of here, right? Your problems are over. Anyways, so this whole video spawns from the pain that I suffered 2 days ago. It's like, wow. The moment that I think I'm comfortable with the job, I am not at all. And I get something that completely pushes me into the breaking point. And the breaking point is a really tough situation. Obviously, if you feel bad, you should back away. But people are gonna make you feel bad for backing away. The peer pressure is real, right? Oh, you're backing away. Oh my god. I have so much criticism for that. Oh my. I really want to listen to your criticism, but I cannot give consent. Because I don't like it. Anyway, so I worked with onions in an onion factory. Anyone who if there's a lack of workers and people want onions, this is gonna get pretty expensive really quickly, because that place is incredibly toxic. Okay, if I gonna come back, I'll have 2 more days of work. If I'm gonna roll the dice and jump on onions again, I think I'll just concede. And concession is one of those disrespectful things that I just don't want to do. But if that happens, I might just concede at this point. It's too much. The shit running out of your nose 24/7 for an entire day. Your entire day is ruined, by the way. At least mine was. My entire day was ruined by just a couple hours of work. Yeah. I figured out the technique how to sort of protect myself a little bit. Just a little bit. It worked. A little bit. But then the douchebag came in and was well like, oh, let's do the work twice as fast now. Oh, that's a good idea. And in the end of the work, I'm actually gonna call you as a slow worker, even though I'm new to the place. And I'm working on the 3rd day. It's like, oh yeah, I will totally eat that criticism. And it's just so fucking frustrating. How can anyone do this? I have worked in some other places, and I have stories to tell that, yes, Zombie Apex is coming. The moment there is a lack of workers, yeah, the faster automation comes, the better. But if there's a lack of workers, things might get pretty interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to balance itself out. And what's going to happen with the economic crisis? Well, what is that for a beast? Like, there's some crazy shit brewing. And it's almost like, again, anyone can press a button and, oh, now we have our straight up chaos in the entire world. Well, that's pretty bad. So yeah, for 2 days I had to do this incredible work. I do tag it as the hardest work I ever done. Although every single time I do a hard work, it's the hardest work because I'm growing and I'm getting better at things. So like, how can this be even harder than anything? But it's because of toxicity. It's not because of speed necessarily. But I double doubt myself sometimes. Like, Is it really that easy? God damn it, like, aren't expectations are just kicking in my face sometimes? Of what people expect me to do? It's like, man. And obviously the expectations mostly come from the idea that I have to socialize. That's the biggest expectation, that I have to socialize and I have to talk because I'm a fucking Lithuanian just like everyone else who have taken over UK at this point. So I'm saying British have no idea what the danger they're in. Especially if Brexit fails. And I think EU might actually figure this out and might want to fail the Brexit as much as they possibly can and create chaos. Deep down, right? Maybe the deal will reverse, maybe everything will fall apart. Meaning that something is gonna happen right next year. Some crazy shit could happen. Now, how do you land this plane, which has 0 wings attached to it? I have no idea. So, let's hope we end up in water. That's the best we can hope for right now. There's 70% water on Earth surface. If my statistics are correct, if I remember correctly, okay? That's better chances than 50-50. That's great. Okay, so yeah, you have to understand the inequality as well. So now we're going to the idea of pain. Once people understand the inequality that they're in, oh, I'm suffering a lot of pain and I cannot share it with everyone. I have to be nice to everyone. And people who are on the higher positions of authority or are protected from pain, when they have no right to be protected from pain, especially as we supposed to socialize essentially, and now that we're learning the language as well, Lithuanian, this is like, man, this is like a tiny scale war going on, or a thing that will start collapsing. Once Lithuanians are capable of speaking the language, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. This migration obviously has to stop, and this is why Brexit is happening. But this is weird. It's annoying to be around my own culture when I try to actually escape it and go to UK, in this case. Oh, I'm gonna learn language and I'm gonna learn programming, but I have no will to do it. I have no will to socialize with people. Basically for the same reason, you know why? For understanding inequality. I understand inequality. If everyone else understands, we're gonna have a zombie apex. Everyone will reach their point of dissatisfaction with life, and they will lose their meaning of life, and they will try and bring people to the other side of living in this case. But there is a bigger problem. Not the shooters, not the people who are unaware of the issues at all. There are people who have so much pain they converted to evil and now they want to spread that evil. That's the biggest issue, and that's what you have to survive. That's what Zombie Apex is all about. The zombies, right? And the zombies don't attack blatantly, and that's not how you turn into a zombie. You actually, yes, you get your flesh eaten off, but you get that flesh eaten off from you with consent. See? Once a zombie eats your flesh with your consent, you're now a zombie. They will quickly infect you with the rest of the shit, with the rest of the poison. you just give them a bite of your flesh. Yes, with consent. Without consent, you just shoot yourself. Or they will attack you, either one of you wins, right, the fight. And even if you get scratched or bitten, that's not a big deal. You're not gonna turn into a zombie because of that. Okay. You'll be able to heal it, but if someone eats some flesh, over time, you will ignore the issue even. For a long time, you will ignore that issue, and once you realize that it could be too late, right, and you now are a zombie, you're either gonna kill yourself for not spreading the plague, that's the only chance you have, or you will convert yourself to evil, obviously, and you will spread the plague. So, when we had physical plague, it was easier. Now we have a mental plague. It's a lot harder to figure this out. And on a moral scale, even on a moral scale, it's going to be hard. I'm not exactly sure. Again, if you want to fight water, you have to use wind. I don't know how to do that. I'm not a wind expert. I'm not here to kill zombies either, because ninjas will just stay back and watch and even encourage zombies to attack people. Why would they do that? Aren't they supposed to? No, they're not. They're not a part of the society, you see. They are a part of their own community. Or they're just rogue, they're just on their own completely. I do consider myself pretty rogue because I don't want to associate with myself with any society at the moment. It doesn't seem like I can fit anywhere, which is the biggest reason. It's almost like the same story of Sasuke becoming a rogue. He doesn't fit in, or Orochimaru didn't fit in, and yeah, they ended up doing their own thing. Obviously, you don't become necessarily powerful by going on your own. You actually have to suffer quite a lot more. You have to go through quite a lot more pain, and you get to see all these inequalities as well. And you have to jump from one society to the other when these sort of figure out that you're no use and you're not actually helping them enough and not listening to them, because you can't. You're not supposed to socialize. That will make things a lot worse. Because now, whenever you will feel that urge to be on your own again, and you will always feel that urge, you will have to rip people off at the same time. And I sort of felt like I'm ripping off people while I was jumping from my first society, which is the school, right? I tried to jump out of my school, and I felt connected to other people quite a bit. And now I think I have ended this process. I have finished all the bonds that I have with people. There are a few more bonds that I would like to destroy even more. I would love to get blocked even more by people. That would be nice. So maybe that's gonna happen, but that's what I had to do. Is like I had to rip myself off from school environment, and every single society that I enter, I no longer am interested in socializing, which is good news, everyone. But now I understand what I have to do, right? This is even more interesting. Now, there's some interesting stuff between Avatar and what a ninja is. Because ninja is literally an avatar. It's literally a bender of all elements. Again, it's all mental stuff. If you imagine that Avatar's ability, or Avatar as a cartoon, doesn't have all these special powers, they're all these mental things that people do. And if you learn how to bend fire, you just awaken your like an inner strength to harm people mentally, which is definitely possible. So there are lots of non-benders who are just workers and they're ignorant to the to their own powers, which is totally fine. And so the avatar is capable of bending all 4 elements. And sometimes it struggles to awaken one of the elements, but that's not a big deal apparently. But anyone can become an avatar, which is ridiculous, right? That's the first thing. Anyone can do it. But an avatar, specifically an avatar who is in a society, it is a gatekeeper. And you probably need just one gatekeeper, right? It's like a rogue, but it's not really a rogue because it's living with other people. And it has all this avatar superpowers. So it's great. It's a gatekeeper. The avatar is supposed to teach people how to bend all 4 elements and how to calm themselves down mentally and have this ultimate protection, which I call perfect ego. You have understanding of all 4 elements and you can quickly change your personality, but not your entire personality. You cannot change your entire personality that easily. That is almost impossible, right? And let's not do things that are almost infinite amount of work, right? Let's not think about that. So this is a very interesting story, right? How an avatar is a gatekeeper, and how Avatar sort of links with the cartoon as well. What kind of interesting insights you can get from there. Wonderful. So every rogue is not necessarily an avatar either. They have to also learn how to bend 4 elements. And it's actually easier when you do it on your own. When you do it without anyone's help, you can just observe other people because you don't have to associate. You don't have all these pressures on you to be a certain way to make sure that your personality is predictable. You don't have that. So as a rogue, you can actually learn these elements a lot quicker. But you also don't have resources because in a society, again, you have friends, you have a bunch of resources. You can become Avatar in both cases, but I still think it's harder when you're associated, because the biggest problem when you are associated with other people, you don't just get resources, you get connections. When you become an avatar, they will want to become an avatar, they will attack you, right? You have to share your fucking knowledge, and this is like, oh, oops, what have I done? I just became a little better than you. That means I'm gonna be attacked. You know, you're not being very nice. You're very nice to yourself. You're very selfish. Yeah, fuck you, dude. Of course. Of course. So, that was interesting. I didn't really discuss pain too much. Let me finish with this. Jesus, he died for our sins. Why would he die from other people's pain? Isn't that, like, stupid? This is bullshit. This feels like bullshit to me, right? Why would you die for other people's sins? This makes no sense to me. I can't answer this question, by the way. Is revenge not moral? That is a rephrase of this question. It almost makes me think that this whole Christianity thing is just bullshit entirely because of this one thing. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Pain is the source of that evil. Criticism is a form of pain, and niceness is another side of not pain, right? But again, if you get niceness without deserving that niceness, you will actually receive pain. Sometimes without knowing. People are being nice to you and you receive pain because you want to be nice to them, but you also want to share pain. And once the language sort of starts to get rid of ways to share pain, oh boy, now that's a gun taken away from people's hands that they will be completely depressed because of that. People just genuinely want to share pain with each other, and when we have an injection of good manners and pressure trying to protect people from too much pain, obviously we need to protect them, but like at some point people are so nice and it's so hard to share your pain that there's obviously gonna be a breakout of people who are just losing their meaning of life, and it's crazy. That's what we have to look out for. I don't even know how to send a message to people who are still associated with others. This is mostly just ninja training for rogue people who stumble upon my content by luck. Congratulations. Let's get the fuck out of here.